In this question, there is a disk whose mass is 9m and whose radius is r. And from this disk, a small disk of radius r by 3 is being removed from this position. And we have to find out the moment of inertia of the remaining disk about this axis, which is passing through the center as well as which is also perpendicular to the plane of the disk. So, first of all, let us see that for the complete disk, I complete disk will be equal to 9m into r square by 2 about this axis. Now I for the smaller disk will be equal to ICOM plus mh square. Now I smaller disk will be equal to the ICOM. Now the mass of this smaller disk can be calculated easily by a concept that for a disk which is a two-dimensional object, the mass is distributed on its area. So the area of this smaller disk would be 1 by 9 times of the bigger disk because its radius is 1 by 3 times and area is proportional to the square of the radius. So its area would be 1 by 9 times to the area of the bigger disk, as well as the mass of this smaller disk would also be 1 by 9 times, which is m into the radius is r square by 9 divided by 2. Actually, I have already calculated this value, so I am writing it now as m r by 3 whole square by 2. This is the moment of inertia of this smaller disk about its own center of mass, as well as the distance between these 2 points is equal to 2r by 3. So this is m into 4r square by 9 also. So I smaller would be equal to m r square by 18 plus 4 m r square by 9. So this is equal to m r square by 2. So the total moment of inertia, the remaining moment of inertia, remaining disk will be equal to I complete disk minus I smaller disk. So it is equal to 9 by 2 mr square minus mr square by 2. So this is 4 mr square. So the correct answer would be option number 3. Thank you. In this question, there are 7 identical disks of radius r and mass m. These are placed in such a way such that this figure is formed. Now we have to find out the moment of inertia of this system about an axis which is passing through point P and which is also perpendicular to the plane of the system. So this is the axis. We know that this is the center of mass of the system. This is COM. And if we have to find out the total moment of inertia of the system about COM, so that would be equal to m r square by 2 is for the central disk, and for all other disks, which are 6 disks, 1 2 3 4 5 6, I can write it as plus 6 times of any one disk. So the moment of inertia of any one disk about the center of mass of the system would be m r square by 2 plus the distance, this one. So this distance is 2r. So this is plus m into 2r whole square. So ICOM will be equal to mr square by 2 plus this is 3mr square plus this is 24 mr square. So ICOM is equal to 55 mr square by 2. You can see that. So this is the moment of inertia of the system about center of mass. Now we have to find out the moment of inertia about this axis P. So I would be equal to ICOM plus the mass of the system is equal to 7m, and the distance between these two axes is equal to this one. So this distance is equal to 3r. So this is 3 into r whole square. So I is equal to ICOM is 55 by 2 mr square plus this is 63 mr square, and this will be equal to 181 mr square by 2. So the correct answer would be option number B. Thank you. In this question, there is a cylinder of length L and radius R, and the moment of inertia of this cylinder about an axis which is passing through its center and it is perpendicular bisector to the cylinder is I. So we have to find out the ratio of L upon R, for which the moment of inertia of the cylinder about this axis is minimum. So first of all, let us write down the moment of inertia of this cylinder about this axis. So about this axis, you can see that this is a cylinder whose length is L as well as its radius is R. So this cylinder is acting like a rod of length L. So its moment of inertia about the axis would be m L square by 12. As well as this cylinder is also acting like a disc of width L and radius R. So this axis would be passing through the plane of this disc, and therefore the moment of inertia of this disc about this axis, which is in the plane of the disc, I can show you this axis from cross section also. This axis is placed such that it is in the plane of this disc, and this is the cross sectional view. So the moment of inertia of this disc about this axis would be mr square by 4. So this is mr square by 4. So this is the combined moment of inertia of this system. You can also derive this moment of inertia by assuming an element which is a disc in this cylinder and by integrating it from the limit minus L by 2 to plus L by 2. You would get the same expression. So this is the moment of inertia of this cylinder about this axis. Now we know that the volume of the cylinder V is equal to pi r square into L. So I can replace this volume, this length L, by V upon pi r square. So I can be written as m by 12 into V square upon pi r to the power 4 plus, in fact, pi square, and this is mr square by 4. So the total moment of inertia would be m by 4 into V square by 3 pi square r to the power 4 plus r square. So you can now differentiate this equation to minimize this moment of inertia. So di by dr is equal to 2r plus, in fact, minus v square by 3 pi square into r to the power 5 into 4. So this is equal to 0. So 2r is equal to 4 by 3 pi square v square by r to the power 5. So r to the power 6 is equal to 2v square by 3 pi square. Now the value of v is equal to pi r square into L. So r to the power 6 is equal to 2 by 3 pi square into pi square r to the power 4 into L square. So cancelling this pi square with pi square and r to the power 4 with r to the power 6. So this is equal to r square is equal to 2 by 3 of into L square. So we have to find out L upon R. So L upon R is equal to root of 3 by 2. So for this value of L upon R, which is the option number B, the moment of inertia of this cylinder about this axis would be minimum. Thank you. In this question, it is given that from a solid sphere of mass m and radius r, a cube of maximum possible volume is removed, and we have to find out the moment of inertia of that cube about its central axis. So first of all, let us see that if we have to remove a cube of maximum possible volume from this sphere, it is necessary that the diagonal of the cube should be equal to the diameter of the sphere. So the diameter of the sphere is 2r and the cube diagonal is root 3a. So the side of this cube should be equal to 2r by root 3. So this is the first analysis. Now we know that the mass of the cube will be equal to the density into the volume of the cube, which is a cube. So mass of cube is equal to density, which is m by 4 by 3 pi r cube, and the volume of the cube is 8 r cube by 3 root 3. So this mass of the cube will be equal to m cube will be equal to 2m by pi root 3. This would be the mass of the cube. Now the moment of inertia of the cube about an axis which is passing through the center of the cube and it is perpendicular to two opposite faces is m a square by 6. So I would be equal to m is 2m by root 3 pi and a square would be 4 r square by 3 and divided by 6. So I would be equal to 4m r square by 9 root 3 pi. So the correct answer would be option number 3. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, it is given that there is a square lamina. I am redrawing that lamina. So there is a square lamina and there are two axes which are EF and AC. So we have to choose the correct option for these two axes. First of all, let me draw these two axes. Now let us see that that this axis is 1 and this is 2 and this is the z axis 3. So we can write it as IZ. So we can say that by perpendicular axis theorem IZ is equal to I1 plus I2, and by symmetricity I1 and I2 are equal, because if we interchange these I1 and I2 then it would not change the appearance of this square. So IZ can be equal to 2I1 or 2I2. This is the first important thing. Okay, now let us also find out the other two axes which are also perpendicular to each other. So you can see this diagonal axis and this diagonal axis. These two axes are perpendicular to each other. Let us name them as 3 and 4. So these two axes are perpendicular to each other as well as to the z axis, and these axes 3 and 4 are also lying in the plane of this square. So I can also apply the perpendicular axis theorem for 3 and 4. So Iz is equal to I3 plus I4, and by symmetry I3 will be equal to I4. So Iz can be written as 2I3 or 2I4, and obviously if we equate equation 1 and equation 2, then we can see that I1 will be equal to I2, will be equal to I3, and will be equal to I4. So the moment of inertia of this square lamina about axis AC and EF would be equal, and therefore the correct option would be option number 3. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, it is given that there is a solid sphere. You can consider a solid sphere whose radius is capital R, and its moment of inertia about its geometrical axis, which is passing through the center of mass, is given as I. So we know that I would be equal to m into r square into 2 by 5, or I can say that 2 by 5 mr square. Now the mass of this sphere is not given, but we can consider that mass of this sphere would be its volume into density. So mass m would be 4 by 3 pi r cube into rho. So the moment of inertia I would be equal to 4 by 3 pi r to the power 5 into rho into 2 by 5. So I would be equal to 8 by 15 pi r to the power 5 into rho. This is the moment of inertia of this solid sphere. Now this solid sphere is melted to form a disk of thickness T and radius small r. And the moment of inertia of this new disk which is formed by melting this sphere is same, and it is equal to I about this axis. We have to find out r. Now let us first of all calculate the mass of this disk. So the mass of this disk can be written as its volume into density, and its volume will be pi r square into thickness T and density is rho. So this is the mass of this disk. Now let us find out the moment of inertia of the disk about the central axis. So this is the central axis. So ICOM will be equal to m r square by 2. So ICOM will be equal to m is pi r square into t into rho into r square by 2. So ICOM will be equal to pi r to the power 4 into t into rho by 2. So this is the moment of inertia of this disk about central axis. Now the moment of inertia of this disk about this axis is I. So I will be equal to ICOM plus m into r square. So that would be equal to, I would be equal to ICOM. ICOM is pi r to the power 4 t rho by 2. This is pi r to the power 4 t rho by 2 plus mr square, where m is this one, pi r square t rho. So pi r square t rho into r square. So I would be equal to 3 by 2 pi r to the power 4 t rho. And this moment of inertia is also equal to this one. So 3 by 2 pi r to the power 4 t rho is equal to 8 by 15 pi r to the power 5 into rho. So cancelling this rho with rho and pi with pi, so you can see that small r to the power 4 is equal to 16 by 45 r to the power 5 divided by t. Now we find out the relationship between this t and capital R and small r by equating the volume. So we know that volume of the sphere is equal to the volume of this disk, because the sphere is itself melted into disk. So the volume of a sphere would be, V sphere would be 4 by 3 pi r cube, and V of disk would be equal to pi r square into t. So these are equal. So 4 by 3 pi r cube is equal to pi r square into t. So cancelling this pi with pi, I can replace this r cube with r square t into 3 by 4. So r to the power 4 is equal to 16 by 45 into r cube. R cube is r square t into 3 by 4 divided by t into r to the power 2. So cancelling this r square with r square and t with t, so this would be 15 and this would be 4. So r square would be equal to 4 upon 15 into r square. So r is equal to 2r by root 15. So the correct answer would be option number A. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, there is a hollow cylinder of mass m, and it is formed in such a way such that its inner radius is r1 and its outer radius is r2. Now we have to find out the moment of inertia of this cylinder about an axis which is passing tangentially and which is passing through its periphery, outer periphery. So we have to find out the moment of inertia of this cylinder about this axis. So let us first of all find out the moment of inertia about axis number 1. Then we'll apply the parallel axis theorem and we'll find out the moment of inertia about axis 2. So first of all, to find out the moment of inertia about axis 1, let us consider an element. So this is an element, and this is a elemental cylinder. So this is an elemental cylinder, and you can see that this cylinder has a radius of so this is the cylinder, and this cylinder has a radius of x and width of dx. So we have considered an element like that, and this is an elemental cylinder. So first of all, let us find out the mass of this cylinder. So the mass of this complete cylinder is given as m, and the volume of this cylinder, the mass m is distributed on the volume. So the volume of this cylinder is, let us suppose that its length is L. So the volume of this cylinder V will be pi r2 square minus r1 square into L. So this is the volume of this cylinder, and its mass is distributed on this volume. So its density would be m upon rho, m upon v, and therefore the mass of elemental cylinder dm would be rho into dv. Now the value of dv can be calculated by multiplying the length, width, and its periphery radius. So the volume of this elemental cylinder will be 2 pi x into dx into L. So this would be the volume of this elemental cylinder. So the mass of this elemental cylinder dm will be equal to rho, which is m upon v, into 2 pi x dx into L, and v is given as this one. Now we know that this element is a hollow cylinder, and the moment of inertia of that hollow cylinder about its central axis is mr square. So di is the moment of inertia of this elemental cylinder. So di would be equal to dm into x square, where x is its radius. So I would be equal to integration of dm into x square, and the value of dm is equal to m upon v into 2 pi x dx into L. So this is m upon v into 2 pi x dx into L, and this is x square. So the volume is equal to pi into r2 square minus r1 square into L. So the moment of inertia I will be equal to m upon pi into r2 square minus r1 square into L into 2 pi x cube dx into L. So this is di, and cancelling this pi with pi, so I would be equal to 2m divided by r2 square minus r1 square and integration of x cube dx. Now the limit of x would be from inner radius r1 to the outer radius r2. So limit of x would be from r1 to r2. Now I would be equal to 2m upon r2 square minus r1 square, and the integration of x cube is x to the power 4 by 4, and the limit would be from r1 to r2. So I would be equal to 2m upon r2 square minus r1 square, and this is 4, multiplied by r2 to the power 4 minus r1 to the power 4. So I will be equal to m upon 2 into this r2 to the power 4 minus r1 to the power 4 can be written as r2 square minus r1 square into r2 square plus r1 square, and I will cancel out this term with this one. So the remaining term would be r1 square plus r2 square. So this is the moment of inertia of this hollow cylinder about central axis, axis number 1. So now to find out the moment of inertia about the axis number 2, I2, we can apply the parallel axis theorem. So parallel axis theorem will be I2 is equal to I1 plus m into distance. Now the distance between these two, this one, is equal to r2, so it would be m into r2 square. So I2 will be equal to m r1 square by 2 plus 3 by 2 m r2 square. So I2 will be equal to m by 2 is common, r1 square plus 3 r2 square. So this is the correct answer. So the correct option will be option number D. Now you can also solve this problem by that technique in which we find out the moment of inertia of the complete solid sphere of radius r2 minus the moment of inertia of the solid sphere of radius r1. So that technique is also applicable in this problem, but that would complicate the question. So I am not preferring that one. So this is the good method, and this is the optimum method to solve these kind of questions. Thank you. In this question, there are 3 rings of same radius and same mass which are placed in a plane in such a way such that all of them are touching each other. Now we have to find out the radius of gyration of this system about this axis. So first of all, let us calculate the moment of inertia of this system about this axis. So let us name the rings as this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So the moment of inertia of 1 about this axis is mr square by 4, because we know that this axis is lying in the plane of the ring, as well as this is passing through the center of mass of the ring. So the moment of inertia of this ring about this axis can be calculated by perpendicular axis theorem. So it is mr square by 2 in fact. Okay, so this is a ring. Now let us calculate the moment of inertia of ring 2 and 3 about this axis. So let us draw the ring 2, and this is ring 2, and we know that MOI of ring 2 about central axis, this axis, will be I is equal to mr square by 2, and therefore the MOI of this ring about this axis, which is passing tangentially, and therefore this axis is parallel to the central axis. So I about this axis, I dash, would be mr square by 2 plus mr square. So I dash would be 3 by 2 mr square. So I2 plus I3 would be equal to twice of 3 by 2 mr square, which is 3 mr square. Now the total moment of inertia would be I1 plus I2 plus I3, and it would be mr square by 2 plus 3 mr square. So this is equal to 7 by 2 mr square, and if we compare it with the formula, that is mk square, where m is the mass of the system. So the mass of this system is 3m and radius of gyration is k. So k will be equal to under root of 7 by 6 r. So the correct option will be option number D. Thank you. In this question, we have to find out the moment of inertia of an elliptical disc of uniform mass distribution and whose total mass is m, as well as the semi-major axis of this disc is r, this is r, and the semi-minor axis is d. So we have to choose the correct option. So we can see that for a disc of radius r, in this case, would have the formula of moment of inertia about the given axis as mr square by 2. If its both dimensions, both axes are of radius small r. But if we compress this disc in such a way such that its semi-minor axis radius is d and semi-major axis radius is r. So obviously, by compressing this disc from one dimension, we can see that the moment of inertia would decrease because we have compressed one dimension of this disk, keeping the other one to be constant. So its moment of inertia I will be less than mr square by 2. So we can say that the correct answer would be option number D. Now we move on the next question.